Hey, so today is the Paralympic, opening ceremony, and it got me thinking about my Olympic story slash journey, and I thought I'd just talk about it because I haven't been able to, I hadn't been able to talk about anything for such a long time, and now I can. I haven't really. Um, so yeah, I thought I'd do that today because I'm bored and there's nothing else to do as well. So it all started, when was it? It must have been June last year or July. I don't know. My friend Daisy, who I went to college with, she told me that she applied to be in the Olympics, to be a cast member. And we both done drama at college. So I was really interested. So she sent me the link over. She sent it through private message, and she said to me, "Don't tell anyone, Jess. Like the the less like the less amount of people that apply, the more chance you've got of getting in." Because I think if it was over like 15,000 people applying, then they would go into a lottery, and I was like, I would have no chance. So luckily enough, I received an email to say that I had a audition. I think it was like a couple of weeks after, or a couple of months. I can't remember. I could be completely wrong on all these dates, but whatever. Yeah, I got an email to say I had an audition on bonfire night, and they said don't prepare anything, just come, wear comfy clothes, and be prepared to move. So instantly I thought, oh crap, I got to dance, and I can't dance, or at least I don't think I can. I've got two left feet, and yeah, just it's a disaster. But anyway, so November 5th came along, and I was really excited, and I was meant to go. Like I had plans with my flatmate to go to central London to see if there's any fireworks because it was bonfire night. But first of all, I went to my audition, which he said he'll come with me because I was too scared. So he came with me, and he had to literally drag me along and push me into the doors because I was too scared. It was the first professional audition I'd ever had, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect to even get this audition. But then as soon as I got in there, we got told what we was going to do, and we had to dance, which was my worst nightmare. But a lot of the other people hadn't danced before. And I think there's about 250 people there, and some of them had danced before and others were just like me. So it was good, and I got to know people straight away. So yeah, we had to dance to Glee, Teenage Dream, and Love on Top by Beyonce, and stuff like that. And it was really fun. And I thought to myself, this is the only time I'm ever going to get to do this. Make the most of it. So I did. I proper went for it. And for somebody that can't dance, or says they can't dance, I have got some moves. And yeah, I still wasn't expecting to get in, but I just thought to myself, at least I've tried. At least I've given it my all, and I've done it. So they said to us we'll find out in a couple of days if we're in or not. Well, if we have a second audition or not. And then we'll go from there. And I just went home, I met my flatmate, and then we went out. But before we went out, I got a phone call, and they said that I had an audition, a recall audition for the Olympics, like 2 weeks later. And I was happy, don't get me wrong, but then I was a bit like, oh, but I wanted to go to a film premiere that day. Elijah Wood's there. Like, I wanted to meet him for so long. So I was just feel like, oh, for God's sake, trust it to be that day. The one day I didn't want it to be. But I decided, obviously, to go because, again, you're never going to do this again. Like, you have to go. Well, with a lot of persuading from my friends anyway. But no, I went. And they said it would be a drum-specific audition. I've never drummed before. What? Me, a drummer? No hand-eye coordination, can't move. But they must have seen something that I didn't. And at first I really struggled, and I thought, I can't do this. But then it was fine, and I got into it, and we got split into groups. It was people that hadn't done it before, beginners, intermediate, and then like professionals or very good drummers. Obviously I was in the beginners, and for a beginner, well, no, not beginner, like people that had never done it, for somebody that never had done it, no, I was okay. I was good. Although I did hit myself in the head with a drumstick, but I blame that on being a bit too excited. So yeah, I didn't expect to get in. Like, I thought they were just going to throw me out, never to be seen again, but they must have seen something that I didn't. So they told us that we'd have to wait until after Christmas to find out. So I think my audition, the drumming one, was on I think it was like the 13th of November, or the 16th, or even the 19th. I don't know, it was something teen. But yeah, so we had to wait till after Christmas, and it was the most agonising wait ever. And during the Christmas period and then start of January, we kept on getting emails from them, and every time you'd see their email address, you're like, oh my god, is it going to be it? And it was never the email. It was, in fact, they were asking for more people, like more males, and I was thinking, I don't really want to like get people to audition if they're not going to let me in. I was like, I'm not, no. But then I told my flatmate anyway, and he was going back to Cyprus. So yeah, but then on the 16th of January, I finally got an email. I believe it was the afternoon, and I just looked at it, and I had to read it like 6 times for me to be like, oh my god, I'm in. And not only was I in, but I was doing 2 roles in the opening ceremony, but I was also accepted for the closing ceremony. And it turns out like we were the only people that got dual roles and pretty much both ceremonies. So I was a bit like, whoa. So yeah, I was a drummer and I was also a marshal. So we got like our schedule through in the coming weeks to tell us when we'll be like rehearsing and stuff and where and all that. So then I believe it was the 22nd of May, we had our first rehearsal at Free Meals Studio in Bromley by Bow. And I was scared. Although we was in, I didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh my god, I can't drum, like what are they going to get us to do? But it was really easy, people were lovely. We got introduced to Rick Smith from Underworld, Mike Dolber, who was our teacher, Danny Boyle, and yeah. And for me that was pretty amazing because I studied drama and Danny Boyle was an Oscar-winning director, and I can now say I've worked with him. And he said to us, you'll probably be referred to as a number during this whole process, but don't take it the wrong way. It's just because there's so many of you. And you know what? It never felt like we was a number. It felt like we was a family. There was 1,000 of us, but we were a family. And it was nice. So yeah, Danny Boyle showed us his model of the green and pleasant land. And he said to us, this is a joke. Like, what you see here isn't what it's going to be. And we believed him. And there was cows and rain clouds clouds that made rain if it didn't rain and other stuff, and we just laughed and we thought, okay. But it turns out the laugh was on us because it was the real thing and we didn't know that. And when it got spilt to the media, I was like, I said to my family, no, it's not like that, no. But it really was, and I looked like an idiot. But we also got shown a video of what we would be doing. It was a 17-minute video of the like green and pleasant land, and then it turns into the Industrial Revolution. And before we went to this rehearsal, we thought, what are we going to be doing? We knew nothing, absolutely nothing. And that first video, when you saw it, you thought to yourself, what the hell was he smoking when he thought of that? Seriously, 7 chimneys coming out of the ground, and what? Victorian Brunels and what? And we were confused and amazed, but most of all I was emotional. And I thought to myself, I'm going to be involved in this. It looks completely bizarre and weird and wonderful on this screen. How are we going to portray this in such a way? How are we going to do this in such a short amount of time? Because we only had about 2 and a bit months, and it was so tight and so crisp and so put together and organised, and just, I didn't know how it was going to happen. But lo and behold, it did. It took a lot of commitment, a lot of time, energy, money, just everything. It was hard, but it was so bloody worth it. Like, I would not change a thing. We were rehearsing in total for about 150 hours, but then you were travelling from, like, people were travelling from like Hong Kong and Scotland and Brighton and whatever. Like, what? People were giving up their life to do this. I sold my phone to do this. I was partly living with my friend in London to do this, just to be able to afford it. Okay, it's not Hong Kong or Brighton, but we all made sacrifices to be able to do this. It came to a point where I almost had to quit like 4 times, and I would get so worked up and so emotional, and I would have screaming rows with my dad, but I refused to give up because I came so far. I would not give up. Other things maybe I would have given up, but not this, not the Olympics, no way. And I tell you what, I'm so glad I didn't. It will always remain the best experience of my life. Like, nothing will top that. No giving birth to a child or getting married can top this. And I'm so tempted to, well, I've put my name down to volunteer for Rio in 2016 because it became such a massive part of my life. It was like my job, and I don't want to ever give that up. Like, I don't want to go back to uni now. It's just nothing compared to that, but I will do whatever I have to become successful, I guess. But that was just insane. And so yes, we had our rehearsals. We went to Free Meals first, and then we had to go to Dagenham. It wasn't a nice place. Didn't like it. It was the old Ford plant. It was just nothing. The best part about it was the circus tent that was there, and I remember being there on the first day, and it was insanely hot. Well, the first time I went there, because I missed the very first one because I had to move home from uni, so I couldn't go. But when I got there, it was really, really hot, and the circus tent was cooler than outside. And there was no air conditioning from what I know, but it was just cool, like, as in temperature. So yeah, we went there. I think we only had like 3 rehearsals there, and then we went to the stadium for the first time, and we were the first people to perform, well, rehearse in the stadium. And the walk from Westfield to the stadium was really long, especially considering we was really, really excited. And we got a bit lost, and I don't know, it felt like the walk was like never ending because we just wanted to get there. And when we went to, like, inside the actual stadium for the first time, I was a bit underwhelmed, I guess. Like, I know, like, it was amazing, don't get me wrong, but I thought to myself, when we sat in the audience bit, like in the chairs, I thought to myself, this is small. I thought this would be bigger. It felt like a football stadium. Like, yeah, it just reminded me of when I used to go to Upton Park. Like, it was nothing. I was expecting it to be huge. But then, when we got onto the field of play, that's when you realise how enormous this thing was. It was huge. It was kind of like an optical illusion when you go from sitting in the audience to it being small to then being huge when you got on there. And the first rehearsal will always remain the most memorable because it was just incredible. And Steve, our like mass movement choreographer person, he's a legend in himself. He said to us, "Welcome home, drummers," and that made me cry, because it was going to be our home. And we rehearsed there for like a month and a half, I don't know. It may have been longer, but it didn't feel that long. And we rehearsed there pretty much the whole time. And we had so many very wet rehearsals, torrential rain and everything. But I tell you what, drumming in the torrential rain was incredible. We had these plastic ponchos on, but we was rumbling and boshing and hoying and everything. And it sounded and looked stunning, especially with the lights on. And that is the moment you knew that you were doing something right, that this was going to be amazing. And then a couple of rehearsals later, we had some of the working men and women that were rehearsing with us, and the Brunels. And it was the start of the Industrial Revolution scene where the chimneys came up and all that. And up until this moment, we hadn't seen a lot. Like, we just, obviously we knew our bit, but that was it. We had never rehearsed with them. And it was mind-blowing. You saw it come together, and I can't describe it. I had to stop drumming and just watch, which I weren't meant to do, but I just had to, because their movements and everything was so precise and so on point and so amazing. And you just thought to yourself, this is going to look amazing. The amount of times I wanted to say to like my parents or friends, "Oh my god, this is what's happened today, like this is what you can see," but I couldn't. I mean, I told my mum some bits because she was like, "Come on, tell me," but other than that I didn't tell anyone anything. And for me that's really hard. I've got a big mouth, but I will never forget that moment. And then a couple of days after all that, a couple of days before the actual show, we were doing dress rehearsals, and these dress rehearsals are unlike anything I've ever done before. Like, these dress rehearsals, the first one, I think it was in front of like 45,000 people, maybe more. And considering I've only ever performed in front of 400 people max, this was a bit of a culture shock to me. This was a bit of... I suffer with bad nerves. Like, seriously, I thought I was going to die. I felt like shit. And I thought I was going to throw up and pass out and fall down the stairs, because we had to come down the stairs whilst drumming. And I've got no coordination. Like, I fall down the stairs best of times. I fell down the stairs at Jubilee Bridge when they were filming the James Bond film. I mean, what hope in hell have I got walking down the stairs in front of 45,000 people? I mean, seriously. But anyway, it was fine. I didn't die. I didn't break anything. Nobody got hit with a drumstick. Everything was good. And the applause, like, after our first section, it was incredible. Like, it was just incredible. If I could replay that every single day, I would. So that was the first day, and one of my best friends actually came to see it, and he really enjoyed it, and apparently he saw me drumming, so that was cool. And then we had another one on the Wednesday, so this was our last rehearsal, and all of our friends and family were coming, so we all got 2 tickets. Bearing in mind there was about 10,000 performers. I may be wrong, don't quote me, but we all got 2 tickets each, and then other people had tickets. So the stadium was pretty much full, and the stadium holds 80,000 people. So you can imagine how many people were there, and it meant so much more because they were all friends and family. And again, that was the most incredible moment. Like, it was amazing. I had to hold back the tears the whole time. It was just phenomenal, and they seemed to love it as well, and it just meant so much more. I'm glad that they done dress rehearsals as well with people there, because otherwise I would have freaked out on the night. But because we had done it, I weren't scared, and we all knew what we was doing. We all knew where we was going and stuff. But with the dress rehearsals, they didn't get to see everything. They didn't get to see the athletes parade, which we were like marshalling in, and some of us were drumming in. So I was drumming, thank God, because that I'm not good at marshalling. No way am I good at marshalling. And I had a really good spot. I was, as the athletes were coming out, I was like there, so you could see me the whole time. Like whenever the country came out, you saw me and my friends. And every time I was on TV, my mum was like, "Oh, it's Jess, it's Jess, it's Jess," and like my friend's son was like, "Oh, it's Jess," and yeah, and so I must have been on TV hundreds of times. Like there's 204 countries, and I was on like camera twice or three times, so more than hundreds of times. But yeah, so that was really fun. And but they didn't get to see that. They only got to watch me on the actual ceremony. There was so much that they didn't see in the dress rehearsals, and I wish I could relive the opening ceremony like every single day. It was without a doubt like the single best thing I have done or will ever do. It's just, I was part of London 2012. Not everyone can say that. And I still make an effort, like make a point of wearing my ceremonies t-shirts because I'm proud, and it's like I'm wearing it now. And I don't know, just why did it have to end? But we also obviously got chosen to do the closing ceremonies, which I was doing, but then I had to quit 2 days before because I didn't have the money to do it, which I was a bit gutted about because I wanted to see it through, but I guess what's meant to be is meant to be, and that weren't meant to be. But I still watched it at home and I enjoyed it. I was a bit annoyed that I weren't there to see the Spice Girls or Ed Sheeran or whatever, because I gave up my Ed Sheeran tickets to go see him in October just so I could afford to do the Olympics. But I don't regret it. Like, it was the right decision. I can go see him some other time. But yeah, I just wanted to share my story, I guess. I haven't at all, really. But yeah, I'm sorry this is ridiculously long. I just wanted to get that out, and I really hope you all enjoyed it. And you better be watching the opening ceremony for the Paralympics tonight. I believe it's on at 9 on Channel 4, but I could be wrong. So check the TV guide, or whatever. But yeah, I've got a lot of friends that are performing in that because we got asked if we wanted to do the Paralympics too, but I couldn't do it obviously because of money. So I'm just gonna be supporting people from home. Got some of my old drummers in there, and also one of our drummers actually died the other day. Her name was Claire. So rest in peace, Claire. We all miss you, and we're sorry that you're gone. So yeah, on that note, thank you for watching this. Thank you to Steve, Mike, Rick, and the rest of my drummers. Just thank you. Thank you for making this summer the best summer of my life. See you later. Bye.